Mike McCool here in the Royal Examiner studio, and with me today is Michelle Marino. Michelle is running for Board of Supervisors in Clarke County. We have a lot of viewers and readers from the northern part of us, that direction up in that, because White Post and Boyce and Berryville, that's all that county, Clarke County, up that way. So, we got a lot of fringe, surprisingly more than we realized when we look at the number. They're all coming that way. That's the growth area of our...
It is.
So you're running for Board of Supervisor as a Democrat, I understand?
I am running as a Democrat. I was asked to run, and given my experience and my passion for the area, I said I think this is the time for me to dip my toe in the water.
That sounds like I told you, the first question I ask is, why in the world do you want to do this? Because, it takes a lot of abuse, and it's a lot of work. It's not just like...
It is.
And are you running unopposed?
I am not. I wish. Wouldn't that be easy?
Sometimes it happens.
It does. It does.
So what motive? What made you say, wake up one day and say, I think I'll do this?
Well, Mike, I've always had an interest in politics. My grandfather was a politician. He got me interested in politics at a young age. And prior to coming out to Berryville, I worked on Capitol Hill. I was a federal lobbyist, specialized in nonprofits, so cities, towns, counties, and just kind of always still had that interest in politics. And so when we moved, we came over the mountain, like a lot of people have. I got involved with the Town Planning Commission. Been on the Town Planning Commission since 2016, and still am on the Town Planning Commission. And then for the past 3 years, I also served as the president of Berryville Main Street. Okay. And that was where I was able to really dig in and get involved with the economic development of the town, worked with small businesses, also worked on events and helping bring over tourists. Bring over the tourists over the mountain who come over and they want that small town experience.
We want that small town charm.
Exactly.
We use that here all the time, small town charm. But people do. They show up and say, wow, I wish this was where I was.
Yeah.
And it's different. It's a little friendlier. It's nicer.
It is.
When you mentioned you were on the economic development, I keep thinking, because when we drive through Berryville, there's not a whole lot there.
There's not.
Since 2016, or maybe even a little before, we have seen a lot of growth in that part of the county. And I was kind of shocked when I first seen it, because I knew they always, in the past, when I say past, 30 years or something, you just never seen anything happen.
Exactly.
You didn't even have a McDonald's.
Right. I mean, that was Blockbuster right there, putting in a McDonald's.
I know. It's just like when we came to town, when Taco Bell came to town, my kids said, civilization at last. So it's the same thing in Berryville.
It is. Yeah. It is. And, we have gotten a lot of small businesses that have come into town and opened up shop. We have so many more families that are moving over the mountain, coming in. And like we said, they want that small town experience. And so that's what we're trying to give to them. And also give them the services so they don't always necessarily have to go into Winchester to go shopping. They can go in town and get a card or a gift for somebody. So
I notice you're also more like a bedroom community of Winchester now. I know a lot of people that work in Winchester and live in the vicinity in Clarke County.
Yes. Yeah. And we have also noticed that we're also becoming more of a commuter town as well. A lot of people still commute over the mountain.
Go to Leesburg and that's priced out. Yeah. They're priced out.
Exactly.
So what's your plan, and what do you bring to the Board of Supervisors?
Well, one of the things that, and I've done this also on the Town Planning Commission and as president of Berryville Main Street, focusing on smart change and smart growth. We don't want to get big. We don't want to become the next Purcellville.
Right.
But at the same time, we have to sustain what we have. I've talked to a lot of the business owners who say, we don't want to become big, but at the same time, we need that business. Right. And so it's being smart about it. And we spoke earlier about the new development that they were trying to bring into town on the old Friant property. Being smart about it. Yes, that area is going to get developed, but we're not going to put 200 plus homes on that property.
Right.
It's just not possible. It's not feasible. Yeah. So that's when the smart growth comes into play.
Right.
Also being an advocate for small businesses, understanding that the economy has been harder. Some of them have been hit harder. We've had a few businesses close and we've had a few businesses open. So it's really, maybe making things more affordable for them, giving them more incentives to stay in business.
The old saying is, I'm from the government and I'm here to help you. Really, that should be true.
Exactly.
And not a joke.
Exactly. It is.
I always tell people, let's make it easy for businesses and people to do business in our town.
Exactly.
Everything doesn't have to be no.
Right.
And we can go and say, well, maybe we can do something, or
right.
Can you change it a little bit and make this here?
Exactly.
We're here to help you to do that. Is that how you feel too?
One of the things that I pushed when I was president of Berryville Main Street is, yes, I understand that's how it was done 20, 30 years ago, but things are different now.
Yeah.
And we are just on the cusp of changing things for the better. And when you have that influx of families who are moving in over the mountain, let's get ahead of that. Let's take advantage of that. Let's capitalize on that so that we can bring more money into the town, more money into the county. And make
you're going to spend more money. I mean,
exactly.
We got. I think the state is not allowed to demand proffers for things,
right?
And that was a change, but they can still voluntarily provide a proffer.
Exactly.
And so I'm sure that's part of the. They want to grease the wheel, and some of them know the advantage of it, and it's worthwhile. Proffers can be millions of dollars worth of benefits to schools and infrastructure.
Exactly.
So those are kind of the behind the scene things that happen. That's part of smart growth.
I was just going to say that that's when it comes into being smart about it.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But, let's try not to be empty-handed, because I can remember even here things have been developed that we didn't get anything for, and we ended up putting the streetlights in and fixing the roads and putting the white sidewalks and curbs and gutter, and we shouldn't ever had to do things.
Paying
like
for it yourself.
Yeah, we shouldn't have to do that. So
exactly.
We just have to be, again, takes people that have been somewhere other than it's great to live and grow up in the same place and never go anywhere, but sometimes when you do travel and go to other cities, and especially if you have that mindset of looking at how things work,
exactly,
it does open your eyes. Like, we don't want that, or that would be an idea. Be open to things.
And when I was the lobbyist, one of the things that I specialized in was getting federal funding for those types of projects for cities, towns, and counties. Right. So I know that there is funding out there that's available. You've just got to be able to tap into it.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the resources or the knowledge or the time to do it, then you're going to get left behind.
Yeah, they always say the best job to look for is somebody that's a grant writer.
Exactly. Oh, it's true, though. It's true.
So you bring a lot of these things to what would you do, come January when you're all sworn in? How you
Besides take a nap and relax?
How are you going to persuade your other members of the board there?
You've got to be...
probably not any Democrats on the board.
There are not. So...
And a woman.
So there is one woman, but I tell everybody when I get elected, I will be the 4th woman in the history of Clarke County to serve on the Board of Supervisors, and the first female Democrat, which, I think is important right now. We're riding that wave of, let's get a woman into office. So
maybe, they won't feel too threatened.
I don't think
it's always good to have people that got a little more knowledge, been someplace. Yeah. And but their thumb will be on you.
Oh, they will. And there's a time and place for everything.
Sure.
And there are some things where I will concede and say, okay, maybe they are doing this right. And then there's other things where I will say, well, I've seen it done different and better, and maybe it is time for change.
Well, I tell people all the time, as there's the left and the right, but you can only govern from the middle.
Exactly.
And that's what we need: people that can that can see the compromise and discuss it in a way to convince people. You have to be a good sales. Right. Well, as a lobbyist, you got to be a good salesperson.
Well, and that's true. And I worked with both sides of the aisle, and that's the only way that you're going to get anything accomplished.
Right.
You're not going to get anything accomplished if you're going to be a diehard, stand on the issue, stand on the party, and refuse to compromise.
Right.
So,
and local, these national issues sometimes get in the way in our local politics. Like here, we have Board of Supervisors is a state or a county election, but it's a political party designation, where our other local elections underneath that, the town council and the mayor and town council, those are independent, supposedly nonpartisan.
Exactly.
And I'm thinking maybe county should be included in that as well, because it eliminates a lot of good people to run.
It does. And, that's a hard area to get into anyways, and to find people who want to do it, let alone have those controls over it.
Or young enough to do it.
Exactly. Well, we're not getting any younger, are we?
But you're right. And it's a lot of work, and it takes a passion to do it.
It does.
Because, it's a 4-year commitment.
Mm-hmm. It is.
It's something you just don't get in there and say, I changed my mind, I don't want to do it.
Right. Exactly.
And we've
It
had
is.
people do that.
I
didn't
know.
realize it was so much.
Yeah.
But how about doing a countywide campaign? It's kind of mind-boggling, isn't it?
It is. And you meet so many different people, and you get so many different opinions.
Existed, right?
No, and you talk to people, and you get so many different just ideas and concerns and issues brought up, and it's actually been really interesting.
Yeah.
We had our county fair a couple of weeks ago, so I worked at the fair every night. Had great conversations with people. Some of them that you wish you didn't have, and some of them that were just so positive and empowering and encouraging. So it was
People
great.
don't want to change, but they want to change.
Exactly. They don't want to change too much to where it's unknown and scary.
Right. Yeah.
But at the same time, you can't sit here and complain that things aren't changing and that things are bad or things are horrible. And I've always been the type of person that says, be the change you want to be.
Right.
Don't sit here and complain, do something about it.
Right.
So
what's your, if you had to pick one thing that you're very passionate about in the county that you're really going to champion during this 4 years, what would that be?
Wow, that's a good question.
So many?
think so many. That's a loaded question right there. I think one of the things really would be encouraging more tourism to come over, being smart about it, capitalizing, like I said before, I had that economic development background, so seeing the good that it can do. Let's have our tourists come over, spend their money in our town, give them the small town experience.
And go home.
And then go home.
I want to say one really good thing about Clarke County that I do know about personally. I was a judge at a DECA conference, regional thing, and the kids that came from Clarke County were the sharpest ones there. Well, other than Warren County, they were sharp too. But, but I was kind of impressed that I'm thinking it was more of a farm, kind of backyard type, and it's, this is business and things. But no, whoever the DECA advisor is really doing a great job in the school.
Wow.
So that shows you the reflection of your future leaders coming up through the school
that's
system.
Great. Well, I'll make sure I pass
and they
it
were
along.
much sharper than the kids from Winchester. So they won't watch this.
We will edit that part out.
We won't edit that part out. But seriously, it was a noticeable difference of the overall kids that were there, and that's a reflection of the schools.
Yeah.
And that's something that you will oversee as on the Board of Supervisors.
And we have a new superintendent coming in this year. And from everything that I've heard, I have some friends who are on the school board. Everybody is really excited about him. So looking forward to working with him too.
Well, people that move into our area, first thing they look at is the schools. Mm-hmm. Will my kid get a good education?
Yeah.
Because they all have this mindset that, I'm moving to a small town. It can't be that great.
Right. Exactly.
But we have great schools.
We do. We do.
That's really good. So if there's nothing else you want to say, we'll go ahead and end this. But I want to encourage people that early voting starts September 20th. So
yes. Just a few days.
If you're in Clarke County and you're driving around, you see this sign that says Michelle Marino, you know who she is now. And be sure you got to vote. Even no matter who you vote for, we want you to vote. And because that's how our system works. And good luck to you, Michelle. I hope things will be bright in your future and be great things for Clarke County.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks again.
Thanks.